Being a soldier and being a warrior is two different things. That's what I learned. You could train to be a soldier. You really can. You could train to be a soldier. But when it comes to being a warrior, to really be disciplined. Because being a warrior entails you to have had went through some things in order to understand adversity, to understand, you know, having to fight through something, right? Knowing that you have a purpose, you have a vision, and you're willing to do whatever you need to do in order to obtain what you know to be yours. That's the difference between, those are some of the difference between being a warrior and being a soldier. We're doing hand to hand combat. And the way that they do hand to hand combat is that they pair you up with somebody that's closer to your size in terms of weight and height and things like that. Just like I am today, I'm 5'7", and just like today, I weigh between 170 and 175 pounds. What that meant at this time is that there weren't many girls or women that I was in school with that were able to be matched with me, right? We were in OCS, which is Officer Candidate School. And so what they did was they paired me up with a guy who was equivalent to my height and my weight. Well, somehow after this man and I were fighting in this hand-to-hand combat, it became a time where he had me on the ground and he was over me, and while he's over me, he had his forearm on my throat. So literally he's standing over me with his forearm on my throat. For although I'm on my back, I had my knee up to his chest so he could only come down so far with his elbow, and then plus I had his uniform collar in a knot. This particular position that we was in lasted for about 2 or 3 minutes, where I wasn't tapping out and he wasn't tapping out. Got to the point where I could not breathe, and because of the way that I had his collar twisted up, he could not breathe. I just held my breath because I knew in my mind that I was willing to pass out before I tapped out. And it's just that serious. It was just that serious to me. I was willing to pass out before I tapped out. However, I've been through enough things in my life where I knew that I was going to get him before he got me. And that's exactly what happened. The way I see it, he hadn't, although he was a soldier, maybe he hadn't been through some of the things that I've been through in life that was instilled in me that made me push no matter what. Made me keep going no matter what, because there was something that I wanted that was worth everything to me. I recognize that most of the things that I've done in life, even to this day, and as I sit here on this porch and I speak, whenever I'm at my most vulnerable point, when life seems to be lifing, at the same time is when I am excelling in other areas. And it is such a beautiful thing. And that is the definition of faith. And so when you think of faith, think about being a warrior. Because in this life right here, in order for you to get through the things that you got to get through to get to where you're trying to go, you're going to endure some things. And you got to be a soldier and you got to have a warrior spirit in order to keep going. Because if not, you will break. And just like that young man, you will tap out. And there's somebody else like myself who's willing to risk it because I'm not tapping out. And so you remember that when you fighting and you seem like you just cannot stop fighting or whatever, when you look up, you're going to realize that that's when you progress the most in life, because it is at those times when you are being truly carried. And so you need to have faith. So I don't know who this is for, but I know this is for somebody because they told me to tell y'all.